Yo, what is going on YouTube? Back today with another video, and today I'm at the North Carolina State History Museum, and behind me is a replica of the Queen Anne's Revenge, which, as many of you might know, is Blackbeard's most known ship, his prize ship, up until it ran aground in 1718. In 1718, as many people believe he actually sunk the ship to avoid sharing loot with other pirates. But here is an example of the wreckage. Underwater archaeologists believe they have found the wreck of Blackbeard's ship, and all objects, in this case right here as I'm showing, were recovered from the site, as many believe this is actual loot from the wreckage of the ship, or actual artifacts from the wreckage of the ship, which was obviously, like I mentioned before, in 1718 June, a few months before the Royal Navy officer Robert Maynard killed Blackbeard during a shipboard fighting. But as far as Queen Anne's Revenge goes, it was actually originally a French slave ship called the Concorde, which he captured in the West Indies near St. Vincent, was now known as St. Vincent. And he would continue to raid, pillage, and plunder many cities along the coast, as the state I'm from, North Carolina, is very well known for its history of pirates. While many imported goods were scarce and cheap and very expensive, they were very valuable. So many raiders, or pirates as they were called, would raid, pillage, and plunder ships, as there were many good places to hide out. And if ships had to stop, make a stop on like a sandbar or something, people like Blackbeard would come out and pillage the ship and take all the goods. And people had no problem buying from pirates, buying stolen goods from pirates and whatnot, because it was a lot cheaper than trying to buy it any other way, trying to buy it legally. As pirates during this time, which was Blackbeard stole the Queen Anne's Revenge in 1717, which was around the Golden Age of Piracy, around the late 17th, early 18th century, as pirate pillage and plunder, all that stuff was very, very common around that time. As oftentimes government officials, especially around Wilmington, would turn a blind eye to piracy, and many people believe the pirates had them on a payroll, and they were in league with pirates along the coast of the Caribbean. And it's very similar to the mafia, or many gangsters of the Prohibition era. Many government officials would be on their payroll, and oftentimes they'd think they'd be in league with them as they were trying to get goods. I mean, obviously completely different time period, but at the end of the day, still the same concept. Now, while Blackbeard did have a good run of success, it would definitely come to an end, as many of you might know. He was known for his thick beard, and he was known for lighting it on fire whenever he was plundering. But many people don't believe he even killed anyone until his final stand. And his final stand, in which he was killed by the Royal Navy. And they severed his head and would put it on a stake on the ship to try to discourage, and as a warning sign to any pirates who were coming along, trying to tell them that, okay, you can't do what this guy did, because you see what happened to him. So, I mean, but at the end of the day, I do see that as kind of the beginning of the end of the Golden Age of Piracy. I mean, but I'm very fascinated by it. I don't know why that is. I mean, maybe watching too much Pirates of the Caribbean growing up, but at the end of the day, it's a very, very fascinating idea. I mean, obviously, for those of you who watched Pirates of the Caribbean growing up, I mean, obviously pirates were horrible people. They weren't all how they were portrayed in the show. I mean, oftentimes they were portrayed as more like Robin Hood-esque people looking for freedom, but in reality they were murderers, rapists, basically every bad thing under the sun. But I mean, there is some truth, as many pirates are actually recently were actually escaped slaves. They turned to a life of piracy, but at the end of the day, they were definitely not people who you'd want to look up to, who you'd want to be like. But it's still very fascinating, the history, especially being from North Carolina. There still is a very well-known history. As you can see, actually East Carolina University, their mascot is the Pirates, and their one of their logos, I don't know if it's their main or their alternate, is actually based on Blackbeard. So we're very, very proud of our history of piracy down here. I mean, it's very interesting, but at the end of the day, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.